A story that has been breaking over the last few hours. Jules,
it's all right. Has he got handkerchiefs with him?
Well,
Julien, have you got tissues, Jules?
Jules, you were the man who broke this story. Just tell us what developed today.
Well, yeah, we were told today that PSG have basically given up on the hope that they can keep Kylian Mbappe for next season. It's still not completely done with Real Madrid. Of course, there's always a miracle that can happen and something that changes his mind and he ends up staying in Paris. But I think at the club, at the Parc des Princes, they know that it's not going to be the case. They have that feeling that he's going to go to Real Madrid. They really tried. We explained it many times on the show. He could have asked anything and they would have given it to him pretty much. But this time the feeling is very much that he has chosen Real Madrid. We understand the dilemma. I think part of Kylian still felt that there was more to achieve in Paris, that the story was not completely over. But the other part of him was like, I want to go to Real Madrid. This is my dream. I want to fulfill it. I want to also test myself in another league, in a bigger league than Ligue 1, which you can completely understand. And again, it's not done. There's still a few details to be sorted out between his lawyer and the club and Real Madrid, but nothing we were told that would prevent the deal from happening. So at the moment, it looks very much, and that's the belief within PSG as well, that he's chosen Real Madrid.
Well, there is unfinished business in Paris, and that's why he's leaving. Yeah, you know, he's going to a club that gets the job done. I mean, this is not a great Real Madrid side, and they've won the league, and they may win the Champions League. Yeah. This is a club that gets the job done. So he's going in there, they're going to spend money and they're going to be competing on all fronts. And so far, PSG have not been able to convince, winning Ligue 1 again. They've been to a final with Thomas Tuchel. But he's going to a place where, I repeat, they just get it over the line. And he's going to help that. So I can understand that 100%.
Frank, obviously, over the last few weeks, you haven't made many friends with Real Madrid supporters. How do you feel about this move?
Well, I really think that Kylian is going to join Real Madrid. As Jules said, it's one of his dreams, and they want to play for one of the biggest clubs, if it's not the biggest club in the world, you know, in terms of silverware especially. I think it would have been nice to see him trying to get something out of Paris Saint-Germain in terms of Champions League and say maybe creating history for the club. But you cannot deny, as Craig said, that even an average Real Madrid won the Liga and is about to maybe win the Champions League. So it says the power of the club. And you cannot also deny that any player has a dream, and if it's his dream, you cannot fight for it and against it. It's what it is, and if he goes there, I want to see the best of him, especially alongside Karim Benzema. It's going to be absolutely fantastic to see them, both of them playing. I have nothing against Real Madrid, and really, I just say that I think the truth that everybody saw. It's not a big Real Madrid this season. It's a fantastic spirit, but it's not a fantastic team.
Too late, Frank. You've gone viral with your hatred.
Interestingly enough, to that point you made, Frank, I mean, Jules, what's the relationship between Mbappe and Benzema, if indeed there is one? How's that dynamic going to work? Because we know Benzema is playing the best football of his life at 34.
It's a very, very strong relationship since they joined together the national team when Benzema, of course, was called back by Deschamps before the Euros. They remember, I think we mentioned it on the day where he was called up again, that when he arrived at Clairefontaine, Kylian was looking like almost if it was Santa Claus that he was seeing. He had those big eyes and he was like, wow, okay, this is Karim Benzema, who could almost be his father, by the way. And since that day, they developed this understanding, this friendship, this relationship that goes really deep now. They're very similar in many, many respects, certainly in terms of drive and ambitions. And I think the Kylian Mbappe that we see this season, and he said it on Sunday when he was voted Player of the Season, he said, I've realized this season, and that's partly thanks to Karim Benzema, I've realized that it's not just about scoring. And in a way, he's been trying this season to become a bit more like Benzema, a bit more altruist, a bit more like all-around player, passing, assisting, creating, scoring, of course, which should always be the bottom line and the objective for a striker like him, like it is for Karim, but everything else around as well on the pitch, and that's the influence that Benzema had on Mbappe since they really met with the national team, and I think they're very much looking forward to playing together at Real Madrid. Believe me, they've talked about it a lot. And this is also part of why I think Kylian wanted to go this summer, because next summer 2023, it might be too late. Benzema might still be there, but certainly not at the kind of form that we've seen him now.
See, you learn something every day.
What did you learn?
Well, there's 2 players in the French squad that actually do get on.
And what about their families? Do they get on?
Every day. I never thought that was possible, boys. They're always fighting with each other. That's good to hear.
Is this a boost or a distraction for the Champions League final? Does that have any effect?
No.
Frank. No, I mean, it's not negative, for sure. It's a positive. Yeah, it's a big boost to know one of the best players on the planet currently is going to be coming to your club. It's not confirmed yet, I know. No major distraction. I think just some good news for Real Madrid fans, but there's a lot. I don't think it's going to take any focus off the Champions League final for this Real Madrid side. It's just the kind of news I think we've all been sort of waiting for, and we've all sort of known was going to happen.
If you're like Rodrigo, are you a little bit like, ugh, look what I've done over the last few weeks, look what I've achieved, and now obviously Mbappe's going to come in.
I think, if you finish the season well and saw Rodrigo with his 2 goals against City, I've seen Asensio play a part this year, Vinicius Junior has been brilliant. I think what you have to do at Real Madrid, for sure, is show that if needed, you can come in and do a job.
Right.
Because we keep talking about it, you look at Barcelona's squad's not good enough. You look at Real Madrid when Benzema was injured, it was a struggle. It was Bale, it was Jovic, it was Isco through the middle. They need a bigger squad. So no, I wouldn't be too despondent because I think there's a lot of players there that can. You look at Man City, how they go to their well. You look at Liverpool in today's Premier League game. So no, I wouldn't be too despondent. I don't think Gareth Bale will be too fussed. And then I don't think he's too fussed about anybody coming in at the moment, to be quite honest.
I think so, of course. Bale leaving, it helps out because it frees up some of those wages for Mbappe. Frank, do you agree that likes of Rodrigo, Asensio, this won't be too much of a downer going into the final?
Well, I don't think so. I think they're very focused on what they have to do very soon, and after they're going to think about their future. I think, if you are Rodrigo, you can wonder, if you will have a little room to play next season. But it's not in their concerns right now, especially because we don't know yet if Kylian Mbappe is going to go there or not. For Vinicius Junior, it's maybe, I don't know, it would be a question mark because Kylian Mbappe plays on the left side. Vinicius Junior showed to the world that he's absolutely fantastic on that side, alongside Karim Benzema. So he will have to adjust. Will he be willing to do so? I'm not sure about that. Will we see Vinicius Junior maybe asking for leaving? I'm not sure as well. But there will be some question marks about some players because of Mbappe coming to Real Madrid.
Now let's take a look then at how they could line up. Obviously, Rudiger heavily linked to a move as well to Real Madrid as his contract expires at Chelsea. He'd line up with Alaba in the centre. Vinicius Junior, Benzema, and Mbappe. Does that work? What's wrong with you? What are you shouting about, Frank?
No.
What's wrong?
No, because Mbappe is not going to come to a club and play on the right side. And that's, I'm absolutely sure that Mbappe is not going to play on the right side.
Jules?
Mbappe won the World Cup on the right side. Why would he not play on the right side of Real Madrid?
Well, we know Benzema's not going to play on the right. So, I think we'll see a Kylian Mbappe, particularly if it's Carlo Ancelotti still there, and I don't see any reason why this won't continue. I think we see a man that can convince big players.
Yeah.
He knows how to talk to big players. That's part of his success story as a manager. Yeah, coaching and all the other stuff, but his ability to deal with the biggest of players and get the best out of them and explain to them why things are happening and how he wants it to work. And I think we'll see that. It's a perfect scenario for Mbappe going in to play under a manager like that.
Yeah.
Somebody who's not going to kill you, somebody who is going to put an arm around you, and he'll probably play anywhere across that front line. Let's be honest. If Benzema has a hamstring problem or something, you put him through the middle. That's going to scare the living daylights out of defenders. So yeah. And the other point about the players, it's not, you know, talking about how it's going to affect the players. This isn't new.
Yeah.
This isn't just popped up. You know, oh, we're signing Kylian Mbappe. Nobody saw this coming. This has been. This has been in the making for months and months, if not over a year. So it's no surprise to any of these players that they're at Real Madrid and they always go after the big Galacticos.
Frank, we lost connection with you there. Jules called you a fool because he said that Mbappe won a World Cup playing on the right-hand side. Why wouldn't he do that again at Real Madrid?
Well, because it's different when you come and sign for a club and you can, you know, be decisive and know how to decide. You know, he's going to talk with Ancelotti. Yes, he was maybe on the right side, but I think, and I clearly think that it's not his best position. So he's going to sign for crazy money as a big star, like somebody's be awaited, and he's going to decide he's going to play on the left side because we all know that his best position. He made some effort with the national team. He did as well with Paris Saint-Germain. And I think he's going to impose himself as on the left side with Real Madrid.
So then what happens with Vinicius Junior, Frank?
Well, I told you, maybe he will sign to Paris Saint-Germain. I don't know. I don't know, but he can play. He can play on the right side. He will have to play on the right side. He won't be the star. I think the star will choose to play on the left side.
The interesting thing is they're going to have to address that midfield.
Yeah.
And I know they've been brilliant this year, and I know Modric at 36 has been the little magician still, but it just can't continue. It can't continue forever and ever. And I know Camavinga's come in and done a good job. Valverde's come in and done a good job. But they're going to have to address these big players, and they are big players, particularly Kroos and Modric, and the job Casemiro does. He's a magician, sometimes Casemiro, at staying on a field, as well as plugging holes at the back. That's a skill. That's a skill to be able to influence a game in a way that you're almost influencing the referee. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he does it, but he seems to have some sort of influence over an official that he gets away with some of these tackles. Yeah. And I think it's a real skill set. But all these players are going to have to be replaced in the next year to 18 months. So it's not just about, can we sign Erling Haaland? Can we sign Kylian Mbappe? Midfield is important. Go on, Frank.
Yeah, there is one player who showed his strength and the fact that he's capable of being in the middle of the park and being very, very good working for other team is Camavinga. I mean, every time he came on, you know, it almost changed the game and has been a real plus. So I think Ancelotti knows that the main players are aging, but he's already preparing some players to move on and keep on being successful. So Camavinga is going to be a real plus and a good tool to the middle in Real Madrid, I think.
Jules, you've been a very brave boy so far. Let's continue, though, to twist the knife and ask you, how on earth are PSG going to go and try and fulfil this big ambition and win the Champions League without Kylian Mbappe?
Well, it's a good question. It's the million-dollar question, really. Let's see how they replace him to start with, and then we can talk about the chemistry and the team and how far they can go and how they built it and who is the manager, by the way. We wrote on the website, for example, Mo Salah, in case he's did not anymore, that he felt like leaving the club because there was no agreement on an extension. You know, I know there's a lot of if in there. His son, they are Usman, for example, has been, I think, talked with the club for a while now. But this is not Kylian Mbappe. It was something very special also because he came from Paris and all that story. So good luck replacing him. Again, I don't know who they can attract, who they can sign, who would want to go there, and how you go again for the rest of the squad to strengthen it. But it's going to be, I mean, you can't really blame him because it's 5 years. He gave 5 years, 5 great years. He scored a lot of goals. They won a lot of trophies. Yeah, of course, there was still no Champions League. Craig mentioned the Champions League final that they lost with Tuchel against Bayern. That was really the chance. That was the moment. And Kylian could have scored, could have shined in that game. He didn't. They lost it. But still, 5 years is a long time, even for such a young player. Still, he's only 23 now. And I think there's a way that you can understand why after 5 years he decides to move on. And then I think the club has to move on and open a new chapter with different players. Let's see who will be the marquee signing. That's the big question. But I think there will be some candidates.
We're not paying these two enough to get proper internet connections?
No, well, Jules...
Come on, come and I'll speak to the boss, see if I can get you a rise to get some internet speed.
Nah, that's a conspiracy theory. You don't want to hear us. That's not fair.
Well, that's it.
That's not
true,
a connection problem.
It's not.
You want to cut us off.
That's true. Frank, PSG are in a mess, aren't they now?
Well, I think they've been like that for a while, you know. it's like it's been a real circus. I think they will have to rebuild, as you said, and think about the real the player that they can get and make sure they get better. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe at front, maybe a Lewandowski, because he has a 1 year left contract and can be attracted by crazy money and playing alongside Messi and Neymar. And see who they can get in the middle of the park as well, in defense. But they have the players. Again, it's not a problem of the talent of the player that is questioned. Sorry, it's the hierarchy, the big mess in the office. Who decides for who, and for what? And maybe if they put everything in order for once, something's going to work out.
Why don't they just go and get Ronaldo then, Jules? Just go full Hollywood.
I mean, that would be incredible. Can you imagine Messi, Neymar and Ronaldo together? I mean, it's not going to happen. I can tell you that right now. Like it was never going to happen last summer. But they've been really good with marquee signings, of course. If you think about Zlatan Ibrahimovic first, and then obviously the same summer, Neymar and Mbappe in 2017. And now it's the next one. Knowing them as well as I do, I'm not sure they prepared much, so they will have to react and to improvise in many ways. But again, there will be candidates. There will be players out there who want to go there.
If you ever saw those three in the same team, you'd need to get oxygen tanks for the rest of the guys behind them.
Right, no one's tracking back.
Because they're going to be working their butts off every game. It's interesting to see what the way forward is going to be for them. We know Lewandowski's not happy at Bayern. We don't know what his next move is. There's been talk of Barcelona. What's their finances, though? But Barcelona are going to have to do something. Yes. They're going to have to react to major signings when the Mbappe one is announced. They're going to have to react to that. Their fans are going to demand it. But have they got the finances to do it? They still need, according to Said Low, they still need to get wages out to get wages in. They need to get players out to get players in. So could they pull the Lewandowski one off? I don't know, so maybe PSG are in the running for somebody who might give them a couple of years at the end of his career.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.